What is the idea of Julian Assange being painted as this incredible supervillain?
So the problem here is that if he were to actually be equitable in the stuff that he leaks, if he were to leak as much stuff about Russia as he leaks about the United States, and as much stuff about Brazil as he leaks about Lithuania, if he leaked everything equally, then it would be very hard for people to say that he was a puppet of some evil power. But instead, he leaks the stuff that everybody's the most interested in, American secrets.
Right.
Well, when you leak American secrets, you become a threat to the United States. If you become a threat to the United States, then you can expect the United States to rally. Because remember, we were just talking about how the U.S. is the big kid on the block. They're the global superpower. Everybody wants to invest in the United States. Everybody wants to be friends with the United States. So when the U.S. says, okay, Assange is now anti-America, and we need your help, everybody, taking him down. It's really hard for someone to be like, oh, well, I disagree with you there, but I want to keep investing in you. Because America starts to say, well, if you're not going to help us with this, we're not going to help you with anything you need help with. So that's how you end up, that's how we get into the WikiLeaks situation, where he became inordinately focused on leaking information from one target. And that makes it so that our adversaries could start funding WikiLeaks, supporting WikiLeaks, running cases and leaking information to WikiLeaks from their espionage cases. And that's not at the heart of what he was trying to do. To keep his business alive, to deliver the maximum beneficial product to the people who loved WikiLeaks, he let himself get led astray by the larger game of espionage.
Right, but to be held up in how long has he been held up in that embassy? For 10 years. They want to extradite him, and
he's stuck, man. And
then you see the reports, the report on Yahoo News. It was that the CIA plotted to kidnap or kill him.
So again, this is. Let's check the news source.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
let's check the news source.
Kidnapping or assassination, London shootout. Yeah. And so the CIA secret war plans against WikiLeaks.
Yeah. So
it's just and there's like they changed the narrative. Like Pompeo, when he talked about WikiLeaks, he completely changed the definition of who they were, and through his words tried to change the public narrative about what they were doing, and no longer classified him as a journalist.
So look, there's a lot going on here, right? So first, Yahoo News, that's not, I wouldn't call that a reputable news source. That's an information aggregation source, right? And then if you look at the headline, you can see how emotional that headline is. The CIA's secret war plans against WikiLeaks. I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense.
It's a little sensational.
So this headline is doing something that we call in influence, in covert influence. What this is doing is it's weeding out the wrong audience, and it's aligning itself to a conspiratorial audience. It's a tactic that you use in influence campaigns, because what you want to say stuff that's so sensational that your target audience just consumes it and loves it and trusts it right away. But you also want to use language that's so sensational that your non-target audience just dismisses it immediately and doesn't even read. Because, like, for me, I'm sure I saw this headline at some point, and I just dismissed it. And I dismissed it so quickly, I didn't even dedicate my short-term memory to remembering it.
Right.
It's so nonsensical to me. But to the target audience, they love this, and they read more of this. And Yahoo News gets more clicks, and if you want to count how many ads are on that page, you'll get a chance to see why they do what they do. But what I'm getting at is Assange is stuck. He had a choice maybe 10 years ago to decide how much he was going to let himself get controlled by the larger geopolitical narrative. Russia versus China versus US versus Europe, right? He had a chance to decide, am I going to let myself be swayed by dollars and cents when Russia specifically starts giving me information from their spies inside the United States and then letting me leak it at specific times that are to the detriment of the United States. Once he made that choice, it was all downhill.
But did he not? Is it true that, how do we know that he didn't leak sensitive stuff about China or about Russia? Like, maybe we're just not paying attention to it. We're only paying attention to the stuff that he leaked about the U.S., claiming because we want to bring him here because it embarrassed the U.S., embarrassed the CIA.
Well, not just embarrassment. There is strong analytical, strong empirical evidence that shows that the timing at which he was releasing facts that were given to him by Russian counterparts
It was given to him. The stuff that he was given, I thought it was proven that it wasn't.
Not all of it, but a lot of it was actually provided to him by assets, by informants to the Russian Federation, and then dropped specifically at times during the election in 2012, 2016.
I thought didn't he release the Hillary emails in 2016?
Yep. So and then those weren't dropped as soon as he got them. Those were dropped at a specific time to cause chaos in the middle of an election cycle.
Right, but I think it was already proven that stuff was already public record. It was already posted on various news sites.
So if that's, I can't speak to that one way or the other.
I'm pretty sure they disproved that wasn't Russian. That wasn't Russian intelligence.
So then you had Hillary emails. I mean, WikiLeaks has dropped a lot of different information. I know I have tried to cite WikiLeaks sources in even my own publications and had CIA come back and tell me that it can't be published because it is still classified inside. So your original question was, is it fair? Yes, it's fair. Whenever you pick
fair to picture him as some sort of super villain, like is
to the
he
United
a
States,
villain?
to the United States,
right? Right.
If somebody else out there wants to grant him exile, they can, but nobody's doing it. Right? If somebody else wants to be like, hey, we back you up, Assange, come stay with us, come live in whatever, Borneo, come live in South Africa, come live in Switzerland, they can totally back him up. They can grant him exile. They can grant him refugee status. But guess what? Nobody's doing that. Because they know what he did against the United States was not unmotivated by political implications. He was intentionally trying to be a threat to the United States. He was giving enemies of the United States an advantage. That is against the best interest of the United States. So look at Snowden. If you look at the grand book tour of Edward Snowden, where has he been? He's been to Hong Kong. He's been to Cuba. He's been to Ecuador. He's in Russia.
Well, it's because he can't come to the U.S., right?
He can't go to any place that has a positive relationship with the U.S.
Right, because of the threat. His life's on the line.
Exactly right. Not that the U.S. is going to kill him when he lands in Germany. That's not going to happen. But the Germans are going to be like, we care more about our relationship with the U.S. than we care about you, Snowden. Right. Do you know what I mean? That is the world that we live in. That is international geopolitical collaboration. That's why you do it. It's why you have extradition agreements. It's why you have international law. That is how people and civilizations work.
What is the difference between, or could there be a fundamental moral difference between the way someone like Julian Assange may look at the world and the way China or the U.S. looks at the world? Like maybe Julian, the closest thing I can compare it to is social media, right? So you have somebody who has this, grandiose social media presence. They put on an act or on the news, rather, or someone on the news who talks about certain things, pushes some sort of narrative, and then behind, when the camera's not rolling, there's somebody completely different. And someone tries to expose this person for being somebody different than who they portray themselves to be. They're doing things that they're not actively doing in the limelight, right? They're two different people. They're wearing two different hats, two different masks. That's what he was trying to do to the United States to make the world a better place, for lack of a better term, right? To not say like these are three evil empires all against each other. He's trying to remove the lie, or trying to expose just lies. Like, shouldn't the United States be doing that? Shouldn't the United States be doing exactly what it says it's doing in the public light behind closed doors?
No.
No.
Are you a parent?
Yes.
Do you do exactly what you tell your child you're going to do?
No.
Because you're protecting your child. The U.S. government has been put in a position where the people have said, I raise my hand and I vote for you to keep me safe. There's a pyramid, a fantastic, if you don't know the pyramid, there's this pyramid that talks about the creation of a state. There's 3 levels in the pyramid. At the foundational level of the pyramid is tribalism. It's individualism, where everybody's out for themselves. This is what we were like before, when we were like cavemen. I ate what I hunted. If I was hungry, it's because I didn't hunt enough, right? I ate and I drank when I could find food. That's the base level. Everybody's out for themselves. We evolve. Societies have the opportunity to evolve into tribalism. Now let's become a tribe of 7 people, 12 people, 8 people. You're a good hunter. I'm a good gatherer. So you go hunt, I'll go gather, and then we'll come and combine our resources at the end. But I have no say how you treat your wife. You have no say how big I grow my garden. We just share resources. second level of the pyramid, right? I'm trading my individual freedoms a little bit so that I can be part of a collective, because now I can't just take your property. In individualism, I can walk into your camp, club you over the head, and drag your wife home.
Right.
Now we're saying we're a tribe. So we're going to protect each other, but we're going to blow up every other tribe. We're going to steal their resources, make them our resources. Tribalism is the second level of that pyramid. The third evolution of that pyramid is called the creation of the state. Now, what you're doing is you're letting a state organization, a centralized organization of some sort of elected or some sort of chosen official. Maybe it's an elder, maybe it's a politician, whatever. But you're choosing to let this small organization capture the efficiencies of everybody. You're not just your resources, which, like you see with the tax base, they tax everybody. That's a collection of resources. And then in exchange for taxation, they're giving everybody security. Now there's police forces, there's military forces. They're giving everybody social welfare. Now you have, if somebody gets sick and they're too old for you to take care of, we'll take care of them. If you're homeless or you lose your job, we'll take care of you. There's environmental and like services, that infrastructure that's put on top of that. We'll take care of getting you clean running water. We'll take care of giving you electricity so you don't have to worry about those things. At the individual level, you have to worry about your own clean water and where your own power source is. At the state level, the third level of the pyramid, somebody else is doing all that for you. How are you paying for that? You're not just paying for that in taxes. You're paying for that by giving up your individual rights, your individual freedoms. That's the power of the pyramid. The higher up you go in the pyramid, the more civilized you get to live. But the cost is that you lose your individual freedoms.